El Paso's only house museum is the Magoffin Home on Magoffin Avenue near downtown El Paso, Texas. It's also a Texas State Historic Site and attracts many tourists a year, including some Texans from Dallas and Houston on a recent October morning. Former First Lady Laura Bush came to see the home with several friends, Karen Prothero and Nancy Dedman, with El Pasoan Adair Margo.
And the finishes, and you'll notice all of the doors, windows were faux
These
finish.
tourists were led on the tour by Magoffin Home Site Superintendent Leslie Bergloff. Mrs. Bush was met inside by period dress townspeople, Melissa and Bernie Sargent, chairman of the El Paso County Historical Commission. The visitors saw how the Magoffins lived, since much of the period furniture is original to the Magoffin home.
And what we put back, we found when we did our paint investigation.
The front of the home is plaster, scored to look like large stones.
You know, George Washington did this in Mount Vernon, too.
Yeah, I remember that.
I think that's fabulous that these guys all did that.
That's why we have the handles.
Here's the sewing machine, the Singer sewing machine, treadle machine.
Yes.
As the Texas tourists went through the family bedrooms, they saw the rooms as the Magoffins used them, with restored wallpaper and canvas ceilings.
Joseph Magoffin was a big guy, and people look at this bed and they say, my goodness, how did he ever fit in that bed, right? It really looks a lot shorter than it is. It's only about 4 inches shorter than our beds today. And apparently he was okay with it. He's a big guy at 5'11", so.
So what year were these added, or do you know?
We think that they were added in probably in the 1880s and 90s. One of the most popular things with our visitors is this Victorian receiver. Have you ever seen one of these? It's this dish with a hole in it.
What's that for?
Well, when women used to brush their hair, they would take that hair and they would save it in this little receiver. And then once they had some there, they would use it for different purposes. Sometimes,
Like a wrap?
well, they did. They used it for a wrap, but they also used it sometimes to
make things, bracelets.
Yeah, to make bracelets, watch fobs for somebody that they were in love with, which is kind of sweet.
Joseph and Octavia's daughter, Josephine Magoffin, was married to West Point graduate General William Glasgow. One room has military artifacts and period firearms.
Because you can see on the front of the gun where it was worn, they were too heavy to wear in a holster, so they were placed on the saddle.
The adobe home was built by Joseph Magoffin and his wife Octavia beginning in 1875. Over several years, they created this territorial architectural home, now a rare example of the period. Mrs. Bush and her East Texas friends had a great time and enjoyed seeing El Paso history firsthand, thanks to El Paso and Adair Margo and Magoffin Home staff.
Yeah, I know, right?
Thank you all.
Led by Site Superintendent Leslie Bergloff.
Come back and talk history someday.
Okay, good.
Very good. Thank you.
This is Jackson Polk reporting for El Paso History TV.